ago, they didn't just lock us in our homes, they didn't just crash the economy. They ran what we now know is a psychological experiment on an entire generation. And the results are in. Congratulations! Lockdown screwed our brains. Now we are all paying what I like to call the COVID tax, and guess what? My generation, Gen Z, is paying the highest burden. Real talk, we lived through the craziest, most authoritarian 2 years of our lives, and it seems that everybody just has collective pandemic amnesia. I mean, nobody even seems to care or even remember about what happened all those years ago. But by tuning into this episode, you are caring. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button. It helps way more than you may think. Leave a comment down below if you have any thoughts, and make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any episodes. Let's start with the one thing that we were all promised, the American dream or the European dream, the idea that we could get a job and move out before you're 30 and own a home. Yeah, COVID just completely cancelled that. Guess what? Who was impacted the most with the initial economic lockdowns? It was young people. We were the last hired, the first fired. We were twice as likely to work in the affected industries like retail or hospitality. Internships disappeared. Graduation ceremonies were held online. People were getting their degree certificates in a PDF. 35% of Gen Z reported having to re-evaluate their career options because their career had just disappeared overnight. They didn't just delay our lives, they also gave us a permanent economic scar. For example, our wealth accumulation is automatically hindered. They protected the vulnerable, and sure, they should have. COVID-19 was at its forefront, a healthcare emergency where older people were at significant risk from the virus, but they did so by sacrificing our economic future on the altar of centralized planning. Just look at that budget deficit which we are now forced to shoulder. It's not just a number, it's the reason why your current £11 an hour paycheck actually has the same purchasing power as a £9 an hour paycheck from 4 years ago. That is a real terms pay cut, and that is the inflation tax which we are forced to shoulder. Now we are the most inexperienced, debt-burdened generation ever, living under the inflation caused by their spending. This is just managed decline. And we wonder why young people are now becoming cynical of what they perceive as capitalism. Just take a look at the incoming New York mayor, Zoran Mamdani.
Yeah, boy.
Yay. Because, newsflash, we saw the government bail out them and not us. But guess what? That wasn't a free market, that was actually corporate cronyism, and we are all paying the price for it. If you've already given up on buying a house, let me know which city you plan to couch surf in. And you know, London is just full of tents anyway, so I guess you could just pitch one of your own. But the real poison wasn't financial, it was actually psychological. The second that they cut us out from our friends, our school, our actual sunlight, we went into anything that we could find, and that was usually the internet. We all fumbled into that tunnel, and yeah, we screwed up. And what was the result? A mental health supernova. Studies from Mind and Young Minds show that 80% of young people reported that the pandemic caused them to have worse mental health. 79% felt lonely or isolated. Think about what was taken from us. It was actual real life. It was social interaction, experiencing rejection and bouncing back again. All of that was replaced by a zero friction internet cult. No wonder our minds were completely fried from it. And how on earth do we even recover? And when you feel that alone, that desperate. That's when you start gripping for a brand new identity. And that is when we see a sudden spike in young people, especially girls, suddenly declaring a new gender identity. Coincidence? When you're locked inside and your life has essentially fallen apart, suddenly everybody declares main character syndrome. And for some, the easiest way to get a number of followers is not to do a viral dance routine, but it's instead to declare a brand new identity. Look at this chart. This shows the share of students not identifying as male or female, so essentially non-binary, across several institutions starting in 2016. Do you see that massive surge? It starts right around 2020, then spikes dramatically through 2023. In those 3 years, that percentage shoots by over 800% in some institutions. The online discourse told them that their isolation and their anxiety and their general Gen Z misery, going through exams and all of that stuff, trust me, I know, was a sign of their hidden oppression or some secret validated identity. And lockdown gave them those echo chambers and those digital keyboard warriors that were validating their beliefs. So it's not really a complete shocker that all of this was happening while we were locked up in our bedrooms listening to only our teachers and professors on Zoom. Everyone was putting pronouns in their bios and usernames. Yeah, trust me, it was everyone. Let's not talk about that. What we should be talking about is how you need to be hitting that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, hitting that like button and dropping a comment down below on your thoughts and your lockdown experiences. If there's any spicy stories that we should know about, please let us know down below. Now let's talk about the ideology itself, because extreme identity politics, it's a luxury belief. What that means is it's an ideology that is only for the financially and socially secure elite, which is why you don't see people in underprivileged situations worrying about what emoji somebody's put in their Instagram bio, because guess what? It's a rich kid's hobby. They gave us the right to argue about which bathroom to use, but took away the right to have a house to put a bathroom in. The regime understood this perfectly. A politically engaged generation is a threat, but a generation consumed by performative tweets and arguing on X or Twitter is easily contained. When you're busy policing your language, you're not asking why your rent went up by 30%. They told us, sacrifice your youth for the common good. And we did. We sacrificed our peak physical, emotional, and our social development years. For what? We swapped getting a stable job for getting a pronoun placard. And the funny part is that the second that they lifted the mandates, the second that they told us that we could go outside, we just took it. We acted as if everything was normal again. We dropped the high intensity fear, the social distancing, the masks, just like that. The problem is that once you give the government that much power, they don't just put it back in the box. You now have a permanent framework for emergency powers. And we, the generation that should have been fighting the hardest for freedom and liberty, we just took it, because for most people, the fear of social shaming is far worse than the fear of losing personal freedom. For my deeper, uncensored breakdowns and articles written by me and our contributors, make sure to check out the Substack at stateofthedebate.substack.com, to subscribe to our YouTube channels and to check out the rest of our socials. Everything should be down below. So next time you see somebody talking about 2020 and forgetting what actually happened, remember to share this episode with them and also to tell them about the data. Remember the spiked anxiety, remember the social conditioning, remember the fact that we were all locked down and people were going through an actual healthcare emergency. What is one thing that you could never forget about the lockdown era? Make sure to comment down below, to share your thoughts with everybody, and also to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much and see you soon.